Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your work week forecast for January 22nd through the 26th. And we're going to have a very busy weather week on tap for us for this week with no huge storm, or it's really kind of a series of a couple storms that are going to impact us, but a long duration event that will start as snow, transition to a mixed bag of precipitation, and eventually end as rain. That will really kind of impact our weather all the way from Tuesday evening through sometime Friday. So all of that is to say that it's going to be an impactful weather week. I will be back with additional forecasts. I'll have a snowfall map up for you tomorrow in my forecast. It's really going to focus on the first part of the storm, which will be snow, and then maybe the transition. And then we'll have additional forecasts for you as we start to figure out the transition. After Thursday, when we transition to rain, and it will be relatively light to, at times, moderate rain. The forecast gets a little less impactful in terms of travel and things like that. So probably we'll have a forecast for you tomorrow and on Wednesday morning. But you should subscribe so that you don't miss those. Oops. Let's take a look at this satellite imagery, and I'll pop myself on front so you can see what I'm talking about here. One thing that is interesting about this storm, we have a dip in the jet stream. This is really kind of a dip in the southern jet stream. You don't see this too often. Usually the southern jet is just kind of pretty zonal. But it's really not supported by upper level, but you can see we've got kind of energy diving in way far south, way further south than you would normally see, south of California into Mexico, central Mexico here. And then a pretty good shortwave here, which is causing a significant storm development where it will be a very high impact event across the southern tier of the United States, Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, where flash flooding kinds of rains are quite likely, and we'll have to keep a big eye out on for them. But for here, we are looking at not the impact to be pretty minimal, at least in terms of, because what's going to happen here is the storm gets going, and it's just going to kind of throw pieces of it in our direction, but they're going to be detached from the main source of the storm being invigorated with energy and moisture. And so we'll see precipitation, but really total amounts of precipitation in the 4-day event are looking at maybe 1 inch to 1 inch and a third, maybe 1.5 inches on the high end. So, that's not nothing, but it's also, for a 4-day event, not exactly like it's going to be snowing or raining or mixing at a high rate for any of that period of time, really. The high impact of this event is really kind of across the southern Mississippi River Valley. But let's take a look at radar. You can see that's already sort of happening. We've got strong, heavy rain and downpours starting over a lot of eastern Texas, Louisiana in places. We have some mixed precipitation across the central Mississippi River Valley, and then snow to the north. And you can see this little piece of snow here. That's going to be the first one that kind of detaches from the main system and kind of heads in our direction. And it will impact us with some snow really tomorrow evening and overnight into Wednesday morning before we start our changeover into that. And what you can see also is we've got a lot of warm, moist air being kind of pushed north out of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see that back on satellite as well. I do want to kind of show you the upper level here. And before we get to the storm track, here's that upper level, and you can kind of just see we have this dip in the jet stream, which goes way far south into the southern Gulf of Mexico. Again, this for kind of mid-latitude jet stream dip. This is very far into the tropics, unusual. And again, that's going to really impact for a big storm across southern Mississippi River Valley. Not so much here. And instead of being able to really crank a storm and go up the coast, we have no block or anything like that in place to kind of create a ridge offshore. And so what's going to happen here is pieces ride up along the storm, and then they kind of get shoved out to sea, where we see this jet stream here, kind of this northern piece of the jet stream, which is pushing things kind of east of us, and that will kind of keep the precipitation from really, for a big storm, from being able to develop along the east coast. So yeah, an interesting setup, but what it means for us is impactful weather, but not crazy impactful weather. Let's take a look at the storm track. That'll give you a better idea of, before we get to Wednesday, we should look at Tuesday of what's going to happen here across the Northeast. And then we'll get to an idea of how the precipitation is going to kind of change from snow to mixed to rain. So tomorrow, storm is still way far to our south and west. And this is not even the main system. This is sort of a weak low pressure system that heads north out of what will still be a main low pressure system kind of down along the Texas Gulf Coast, Louisiana Gulf Coast near New Orleans. But what's there is we kind of have a warm front continuing to move north. We have kind of a surge of warm air. This high pressure to our north, which has been kind of holding the warmer air at bay so far, obviously it's very cold out there this morning, starts to retreat. And we start to develop a high pressure system off the coast, kind of a Bermuda summer kind of high that's going to also kind of enhance this southwesterly flow into New England. We're not going to spike temperatures because it's not going to really surge through. but we are definitely going to push warmer air in our direction. As we head towards Wednesday, the system gets closer to us. By Wednesday midday, this is about change over time when we're going to go from snow to probably by midday, we're probably at some sort of a mix on Wednesday anyway, and we're getting closer. By Wednesday evening, we probably transition over to just rain, or Wednesday overnight, certainly into Thursday. You can see that first storm is continuing to kind of progress west of us. And actually on Thursday, you can see that the second storm starts to kind of take all the momentum out of that and actually kind of redevelops and pushes further west. Continues to push the warm front north. Here's that high pressure system I mentioned off the coast, which is kind of helping enhance that southwesterly flow into New England. By Thursday, midday, we're definitely all rain all the way to the Canadian border here across New England. Again, this is showery though on precipitation. This is not heavy, steady rain. This is really mostly a kind of showery precipitation event. And by Friday, finally, everything starts to kind of move through. Temperatures aren't going to crash behind this system, though. There's not a lot of cold air behind it. We've warmed in Canada some, so at least for now, this will be the end. Today is the end of the Arctic air. As we go forward, we'll see that in the 5-day forecast, and but the system will kind of move through so that by Saturday, we will have cleared out and finally start to dry out a little bit on Saturday. As we take a look at what that looks like from a precipitation standpoint. Okay, so this is as we're going to go back to the beginning. So this is tomorrow afternoon into the evening. You can see snow starts to approach. It's not overly heavy. Could be enough that roads could certainly be slick. As we head through the overnight, by Wednesday morning, we start to approach. You can see that we're starting to move some mixed precipitation in. It's spotty precipitation. Schools are definitely a possibility that we could see some school delays and maybe even cancellations on Wednesday because roads will be slick from the snow and then some ice on top, either some sleet or freezing rain on top of them. And even though it'll be relatively light, it'll be ongoing through the day. So I would not be surprised to see school cancellations on Wednesday. But not a guarantee either. It's not overly heavy. None of this is really coming down overly heavy. We're probably not looking at more than a couple to 2, 3, 4 inches of snow, and then a light coating of ice on top of it before we eventually change to rain. This model doesn't go out far enough to show you the change to rain, but the change to rain will definitely happen Wednesday afternoon into the day, or Wednesday overnight into the day on Thursday, certainly by Thursday morning. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the overall look at the forecast, the 5-day forecast here. So today we're cold. We started off really cold. We will warm up by this afternoon. The warmest day we've had in a couple, up in the upper 20s, low 20s if you're out there skiing. The wind has died down. We'll see some sun today. Enjoy the sun. Tomorrow, maybe a peak of sun early in the day, but then we lose all sun for the rest of the week. Temperatures tomorrow, after starting in the low 20s, pull up to about freezing. And then we kind of stay roughly at freezing, just slowly inching our way up. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as finally by Thursday, we're kind of up in the upper 30s. That's why the light rain. But basically, we're looking at that period, of snow, light snow on Tuesday night into Wednesday. So we could get a little bit of light accumulation. That changes to a wintry mix during the day on Wednesday, which means a little bit of freezing rain mixed in with some sleet and still some snow kind of mixed in and changing to rain. Again, I don't think it'll be treacherous travel or anything like that, but it definitely could be slippery. So I think Wednesday school is a potential issue, and roads will be slippery on Wednesday. Thursday, then overnight or by evening on Wednesday, we're really kind of transitioning to rain. Temperatures are continuing to come up. By Thursday, we're looking at whatever's left is rain. Again, not heavy. That's about 1 1/3 inches for this entire period, and then sprinkles left over on Friday as the storm finally starts to clear the area. We'll hold on to those clouds. Temperatures near 40. If we look at that in terms of the work week highlights, active weather pattern with precipitation likely Tuesday evening through Friday. Precipitation will be on and off, mostly light. Tuesday and Wednesday bring some light to moderate snow accumulations. Again, I'll have a snowfall map for you tomorrow. It doesn't look like anything. It could be enough that you're going to need to get the snowblower out or shovel before you get into the rain, but not enough that it's going to cause huge problems. Mixed precipitation for Wednesday afternoon and overnight, which is again why it could be slippery for most of the day on Wednesday, so schools could be closed. Thursday, we transition to cold rain, which tapers to sprinkles on Friday before we finally quiet down a little bit for the weekend. So a very active weather pattern, not a huge high impact, big snow event or anything like that, but definitely a lot going on. Like I said, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel because I will be back a bunch this week. I will be back tomorrow, sometime in the morning, hopefully early, as long as that can make that work. And then I'll be back on Wednesday as well, probably with a look at your forecast. And then probably we'll wait till the weekend because it'll mostly just be rain after that. But yes, I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons who help support what I do here. They help make the kind of the graphics, and they help me help support so that I can subscribe to the different models and things like that I need to in order to make these forecasts happen. And so I appreciate their help. So if you have subscribed, but you're interested in like the next level of support, that would be becoming a patron. There's a $2 level at which you get a weekend forecast always, and there's a $5 level where you can either get your all of your forecasts emailed to you if you don't like looking for them online, or there's also a level there where I do a 10-day forecast, kind of weather outlook on Wednesdays each week that you get access to at the $5 support level. So there you go. That's what you can do to help out the channel. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed one last time, please do that. And thank you to my patrons. We'll see you tomorrow morning.